Hey, welcome to Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. I'm here with Erkan, and today we're going to talk about a situation that you showed me a video of.
Yeah.
You want to go ahead and tell them kind of what happened?
Yeah, it happened last week in Germany, I think 2 or 3 days ago, where an old guy, 67 years old, was sitting in a garden of an unknown person, and the owner of the garden called the police. So the police arrived, 2 police officers arrived at the place and talked to the guy, and I didn't see the beginning of the video. There is no beginning, but they're very aggressive talking to this 67-year-old guy, and he stands up and they try first the pepper spray from a major distance.
Right.
And the pepper spray, I don't know, maybe it just hit him a little bit, but he just shoved it off. The police ran away. He grabbed.
Well, that's the thing that was amazing to me. They ran away kind of screaming, right? They're just like,
ah! They were screaming like, stop, stop.
Right.
Yeah, but they ran away.
They ran away.
Yeah, I think he had a screwdriver in his left hand, but he grabbed a toy.
Like a little toy truck or something, yeah.
It was a toy truck, plastic.
Like plastic.
Yeah. And he ran after the police.
Well, right, I mean, when we say this guy had a very hard time moving. He was not a physical threat shouldn't be a physical threat to anyone. But yeah, he was, as best he could, he was trying to run after them.
Shaking. And then the police yelled at him to stop or he will shoot. Right,
he threw the toy at them.
No, he had the toy still in his hand.
Oh, that's right.
He just run after the police, and the police run away, and one of the police officers starts shooting at him.
Right.
And I think he shoot at him 5, 6, 7 times.
Yep.
And the guy still goes forward.
Right.
He got hit. He got hit several times. He still runs behind the police officer, so the police officer fall down on his back. So the guy was over him with his toy. He had the screwdriver in his hand. You don't see that really, but he tried to hit the police with the toy.
Again, like a kid's plastic toy.
Yeah, it was a kid's plastic toy. And the police shoot him in the face.
Right.
I don't know if the guy is dead or not. I know that he screamed after that a lot.
Yeah.
And you don't see the guy lying because there was the
bushes and stuff.
Yeah. And the other police officer still screaming at him to drop the screwdriver.
Right.
But I think he got shot 7 or 8 times.
Yeah, if he didn't die, I'd be very surprised.
Yeah, maybe he died, I don't know.
But yeah, it was a shocking video to me, to us, of course, and a really depressing video because policing around the world, obviously there's many times you have violent conflicts. And yet, that being a big part of their job, depending especially, of course, where you are, they are horribly undertrained or untrained for it. I know like in the US, in many places, you get 2 weeks of combatives and BLET, basic law enforcement training, and that's it. You know, that's all you get. And so one of the things that we tell people all the time is, in a stressful situation, you will go to the tools you're used to using. Okay. So if you don't have any real hand-to-hand training, you're going to go to force multipliers, guns, or, well, they went to the pepper spray first. It didn't work, so then they went to the gun. Yeah, but he was barely could move. He was not a like in shape, athletic, guy in his 60s. And it really shows a horrible lack of training and of course, a danger to the public because police are having to go to these greater tools, these more dangerous tools to handle this situation. And what was especially striking to me was that the first thing the police did was they ran away. Right? There were 2 of them, right?
Yeah, there were two police officers.
Right. They didn't flank him. They didn't work there was no sort of strategy. There was no sort of concept of how to control his movements. And I know that there is some training that some police get, and most of it is incredibly outdated or incredibly useless for the real world. And that comes from many reasons. I think sometimes, police, heads of police don't know any better, so this guy has a good BS, so we'll hire him to teach our people. Or I know like in the States, a lot of places they're still doing pressure point stuff.
Still?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I know here, what do they train a lot of?
I don't know really. Maybe some of them train Krav Maga or some kind of old school Jiu-Jitsu or Wing Chun, I heard.
Yeah. And see, the problem is that's not really useful for their needs.
Yeah.
Right? Every martial art, is better in certain arenas than others. Okay, martial arts that are predominantly striking based, like Wing Chun or Krav Maga, they're not very useful for police because you don't want to sit here and just punch the person. You're not gonna. The whole point of if somebody is having a violent conflict is what? Control them, contain them, restrain, maybe put them in a cuffing situation. It's because that is the way you're going to do it with the least amount of damage to the person, the least danger to yourself, right? And the most reliability. If you have somebody who's got a weapon or they don't have a weapon, they're just crazy in control, and you take a woman who's a 110-pound police officer and you tell her to just start punching, somebody who's 180 pounds, and that's not going to do anything. Not to mention, go ahead.
Do you know what is ridiculous?
What's that?
I think the police isn't allowed to punch, but they still train punching arts.
Right, yeah, you're going to get more in legal trouble if you just start blasting somebody in the face.
Yeah.
But that's what they're taught to use. So they're given a weapon that they can't really use. Or that the thing with punching is a bit like weapons, right? Which is, if you are being somewhat troublesome, right? I'm trying to arrest you, you're giving me trouble, but you're not giving me a lot of trouble. And my only weapon is to punch you, or to tase you, or to shoot you, but you're not really aggressive enough to get to that level. Mm-hmm. It means I don't have any way to deal with you.
That's right.
Right? I can just beg, would you please calm down, please calm down. Now, obviously, verbal de-escalation is a part of it. But if I knew how to, clinch you, pin you to the wall, pin you to the ground, I could do that much earlier in the conflict timeline without, hurting you, without particularly, in some senses, escalating the situation. But if I have to wait till okay, now I'm going to hit them, right? You've probably gotten pretty violent by that point.
Yep.
And maybe you've gotten so violent that I haven't been able to control you. Because here's the thing, can I get you to stand up? The arts that are best for self-defense are arts that control. Okay, what I mean by that is, right now, if you were to do something to me, do I have a real good idea what you're going to do? No. You could punch me, you could take me down, you could knee me, you could elbow me, you could punch me that arm, you could punch me that arm. Yeah. I don't know. It's very hard to predict. There's a ton of chaos in this situation. And if you do throw a punch, and let's say I manage to somehow, and then we're here and, there's way too much chaos, and it's going to favor the guy who is either stronger, faster, but more than that, more committed to violence.
Yep, more aggressive.
More aggressive, more wants to do the damage. Okay? So what happens is I end up having to run away or something. So I always use this situation. Okay? Close your eyes. Okay, so he has no control. Block this punch.
Which one?
There's no way he can do it. Okay, now close your eyes. Put your hands on my biceps. Okay, block this punch. Here. Just by this simple connection, he's able to start limiting and predicting and feeling what I'm going to do. And that was just the hands. Right? If he gets into a situation where he's able to clinch me and control me and then maybe take me down, where he even has the ground to use me, exactly. That's going to take a lot of that randomness and chaos out, and it actually doesn't require as much strength. And he's doing it in a way where it doesn't even really injure me.
That's it.
Right? So, that's the kind of training they should be learning, right? If it's a situation of, I'm going to go, you throw a punch, then I'm going to destroy the arm, here, hit the nerve, do this, and then, of course, poke the eyes and rip out the groin.
Don't forget that one.
Yeah, never forget that. That is just highly unrealistic, highly dangerous because, most police are just like anybody else. They don't want to hurt somebody.
That's it.
So they'll tend to wait too long. You can't just be like, The person puts hands on you, tear their eyes out. Okay? But he puts hands on me, I could just like, okay, look, let's calm down, put him down on the ground, here, turn him over, cuff. It's going to be much easier to cuff somebody that way than trying to do some sort of nerve destruction, something like this. So I plead with anybody who works in law enforcement or is any position of power in law enforcement to get your officers to train a control-focused style of martial art. I personally think Gracie Jiu-Jitsu is the most effective in that realm. But, and here's the kicker, you have to do your homework, okay? Most BJJ schools now, and I'm sad to say, are really not much better off than learning sort of nerve punch things for your officers, because they're not going to address the things they need, the clinch work, the takedown, the control. Okay, I was telling you the other day, I saw a video of a guy, he's teaching how to pass the matrix guard, this inversion, upside down, thread the legs, take the back thing. And his students were all white belts. Right? And as you said, I bet they don't know how to escape a headlock or do a takedown or any of these things. And that's unfortunately most BJJ schools. So make sure that you go and find a school that teaches complete Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, how to strike, how to clinch versus strikes, because it could have been handled very simply if the police had maybe flanked the guy on either side, got his attention going one way, and then simply learn how to control, take the guy down. He would have survived the situation.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have had this situation. I mean, nobody likes to kill someone.
No, I mean, he will have sleepless nights.
Yeah. So, I believe everybody should learn how to defend themselves. But in a job where violence is a very big reality, you should learn how to defend yourself. And more importantly, you should learn how to realistically defend yourself. There is a lot of, unfortunately, martial arts is one of the greatest containers of BS that there is. Because if you're a good salesman, you can sell anybody on your martial art. You can convince them. I mean, if you come into a class and you throw a straight punch and I can look like the most amazing fighter in the world, and you go, oh man, we need to learn that magic, get our guys learning that magic. Well, that was great because I told him exactly what to do and we're practicing in this situation. One of the powers of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu is what? We spar. Yeah. Right? So we learn how to control people, and it isn't theory to us, and it isn't a kata to us. It isn't I stand here and you do 10 things to me. It's I'm resisting, and you get comfortable learning how to deal with resistance. Yeah. Right? When you roll with somebody, especially a new person, how nervous are you inside?
Oh, almost no nervous.
Yeah. Now, when you start, of course, you're nervous, right? You're using all this energy, all this power. You're like, After a while, you're just rolling. You're completely, almost bored, right? Yeah. You're more just in your head, playing around, thinking. That is a superpower. And that is a superpower every police officer should have. The ability to get into a situation, clinch, control, not let their nerves take over, because once your fudoshin, once your emotions take over, your fear takes over, what happens? You start going to guns. You start thinking of somebody doing this as a life-threatening situation, right? If you're untrained, grab me by the throat, that's a life-threatening situation. If you're trained, that's just another day that we practice, okay? If somebody grabs you and you're untrained, this is a life-threatening situation, right? To him, it's an easy takedown, right? It's an easy way for him to throw me, okay? So, again, I don't know how much exposure this video will get, but I really am pleading with every police officer, every police department to find yourself an authentic Gracie Jiu-Jitsu school. What I mean by that is one that teaches the entire curriculum, not hanging on lapels upside down and talking about points, but actually will teach your officers how to engage, because, almost never should a situation where a 67-year-old man with a toy gets killed by two police officers, especially two police officers who ran away screaming.
Yeah.
Okay.
And after the shooting, he put back the gun and got the stick.
Yeah. Right. So if you ever want to contact us, of course, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, Gracie Schwartzwald at gmail.com, and check out our videos, and hopefully we won't have to see this sort of thing again.